Primal Chaos. Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. So I was just about to quit doing work for today in the studio. I've done a couple of reactions and I was just like, maybe there's one more thing I could do. So I was clicking around. I realized Extreme has yet another single out. I've mentioned before how much of an Extreme fan I am. I have been since I was 14 years old when I first got this Washburn N2 for my birthday of my old man, because he knew that my life wasn't worth living unless I had this guitar. Porno Graffiti was an absolute game changer for me. Three Sides changed the way that as a young listener I viewed how the scope of what rock could be, especially the third side, right? I was like, oh my God, you can put orchestras in this stuff and you can have, you know, light and shade. It doesn't have to be aggressive and loud and fast all the time. And, you know, you can have moments of delicate sort of peacefulness and, you know, songs about love and heartache and togetherness and all that sort of stuff. Punchline, Schizophrenic by Nuno, some of the stuff with the Merry Widows and things like that as well. You know, Nuno side projects and stuff like that. Look, you know, I've been around a long time. Am I acutely aware of everything Extreme's ever done? No, but my passion comes from a place of understanding of like their early to mid career sort of stuff. But seeing them come back has just been, you know, just so joyous for me. Not that they ever really went away, I suppose. It's not like they ever quit and they're reforming, but I guess their lives took different directions and stuff. And they've been doing stuff in between as well that maybe I missed. But I'm back, man. I'm dialed in. I'm here for the long haul again. So, you know what? I'm not going to talk too much. I just want to say this video is brought to you in part today by Enchroma. Enchroma make lenses for colorblind people like myself, which is why I like to, you know, support them by allowing them to support my channel. If you are colorblind or if you know someone who is, click the link in my description. It'll take you to the website where you can get a free eye test, find out if you have a deficiency, and if so, you might be able to get some corrective lenses there that'll allow you to see the world a little bit like everyone else does. So yeah, definitely check them out. But I've talked too much. Let's get into the reaction. Here we go. Rebel. Hashtag Rebel? Is it literally hashtag Rebel? I guess it is. Got a bounce to it, baby. God, I love the set piece too. That's cool. Oh, that just boots along, doesn't it?
Rebel, you rage without a cause. Fools on parade, bearing no cross. Bury the truth, repeat the lie. Mob is the rule, fueling the fire.
Trey's still got it, man. Come on.
You're talking to me as you're walking away. You got something to say. You're talking to me as you're walking away.
So much attitude. I love it. All right, before we get into the second verse, man, what am I seeing so far? First of all, I love the aesthetic of the... Let's get the video clip out of the way because no one's here to look at the video clip, right? But it just feels so organic and sort of punchy. You know, it's a rough and tumble environment. It's the studio. I guess maybe this is where they rehearse and practice. Who knows? But it fits the vibe of it because, I mean, it's a gritty, down-to-earth concept of a song. It's like, hey, man, you know, you got something to say. You're walking away. You're still talking. Let's sort this out, right? Gary's never been a guy who was afraid of having attitude, right? And I love that about the energy that he has in that regard. You know, he loves calling things like they are and seeing things at face value, you know. But just that groove, man. Let's talk about the music. The groove sort of boots along. I love it. Is it Kevin? Again, you know, I was around when Paul Geary was the drummer. I know Kevin's been with the band forever. Mike Mangini played with them as well. 94, 96. Yeah, so Kevin's current. Yeah, this is him. So, but I love what he's doing with the kicks to sort of drive that sort of swung beat along, right? If you listen, you can actually see that he'll hit the pedals. You know, he could very easily just play a straight groove to this. Just listen to the kick though. it just sort of just reinforces that sort of bump in the bottom end of the rhythm, you know.
Rebel, you rage without a cause. Fools on parade, bearing no cross. Bury the truth, repeat the lie. Mob is the rule.
So I guess
Fuel in the fire.
So I guess Nuno's got two tracks. The bulk of the rhythm's in the left ear, and he's got like a counter rhythm on the other side that I was thinking maybe it's distorted bass. But then you hear a little bit of Pat playing some licks. And so maybe, unless they're just, maybe is the rhythm track on both sides? It just seems strange because Nuno's over to the left.
Bearing no cross.
Yeah, and you got like a over here and then over here.
Mob is the rule. Fuel in the fire. Hey, you got something to say? You're talking to me as you're walking away. Hey,
Love how aggressive he's coming back in that beat too.
you're talking to me as you're walking away.
Yeah, I'm on
You
his.
say you want revolution, talking the walk, ready to run. Hashtag rebel, barking your bicycle, virtue in bold, kiss it goodbye. Hey, you got something to say? You're talking to me as you're walking away. Hey, you got something to say? You're talking to me as you're walking away.
I fully believe that that's how they did their gang vocals. I reckon they just huddled around a mic and went for it. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't read the lyrics, but the vibe I'm getting from what Gary's putting out there is potentially, it's called hashtag rebel, which I think is like a little bit chastising, right? Because, it seems like he's talking about all of these people who have all this energy and attitude towards all sorts of different things, but their protest has no teeth because it's all done behind keyboards, right? So hashtag rebel. I'm not a rebel, I'm a hashtag rebel. So I'll sit there and I'll sit behind my keyboard and tell everybody how the world sucks, but not physically put my body on the line to make a difference, And it's like, hey, you're walking away, you got something to say, right? That shit wouldn't fly back in the old days. If you had something to say, you talked it out. You went for a walk, man, you sorted it. And I think that's kind of where this is coming from. Again, haven't read the lyrics. This is just the vibe I'm getting from the energy of the song.
You got something to say? You're talking to me as you're walking away. Hey,
I love
you got
that.
something to say? You're talking to me as you're walking away. La 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 la. Instigator, agitator,
Vocal fry.
rouser, troublemaker.
That's cool. So he's got obviously a couple of vocal layers in there. I might have heard Nuno doing one of them. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But I love that he's brought it back down to that sort of intimate ASMR kind of. You can hear that sibilance of his voice. But he's got like that vocal fry. Elbow rouser. Just cool. I don't know if I've heard Sharon do that before. Maybe, who knows? I'm not, it's been a minute since I listened to it, but I just love that they've sort of made that sort of the breakdown vocal focused instead of just doing like, some rhythmic stuff or whatever.
Instigator, agitator, rabble, rouser, troublemaker.
Come on. So, I mean, sorry, Nuno. Sorry to interrupt, but I just couldn't get it out of my head. I had to say it. I don't really swear much on this channel, but it's great to see that people still know how to rock, man. And that's what this is. Like let's talk about Nuno's solo, right? First of all, he was just doing this amazing thing, just embellishing Gary's vocal part, right? And I was thinking, oh, okay, that's really tastefully done. He's sort of sitting back. He's not, overplaying it, and he's just letting Gary, highlighting Gary's part by embellishing it with some lead parts and some nice bends and stuff like that. Back here somewhere. Where is it? Nope. This part here. And again, it just looks sick on camera too, right? Come on. That's rock and roll, baby. But again, so he's just highlighting Gary's parts, right? And then, okay, let's get into some rhythmic stuff, as Nuno is wont to do. Oh. Come on. Yeah, so I wanted to hear the rest of whatever solo part was coming up. But the thing that really interests me about that is talk about playing to the song, right? You can overplay, you can underplay, you can play something that makes you feel awesome because you're shredding and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, serving the song is probably the most important thing you can do as a guitar player. And to me, that solo stands out because it felt improvised. It felt raw. It felt loose as a Nuno solo can get anyway. It felt like a single take. It didn't feel like, sometimes you'll hear like a Van Halen solo and you go, okay, they've comped together like 3 or 4 ideas, from a bunch of takes, which is, again, what most people do, right? But that to me felt every bit like that's the first take. Nuno just shredded over it. They went, yeah, because this is a balls to the wall, old school, boot the can down the road, rock and roll song, right? And to have this glistening, shreddy, pristine solo over the top of it just wouldn't work. It's got a squeal, and that bendy part at the end where he's just wringing that guitar's neck. It felt organic and real and not forced. And it felt like he hadn't, worn that solo in over touring for 2 years. It just felt like what was coming out of him at the minute, and that's the beauty of people who are this seasoned. Nuno's toured the world multiple times. He's toured with a bunch of different artists. He supported Rihanna on her tour from memory, so he's done the hard yards, and he just knows what he's doing. He's one of the big gun pro session players in the world. And he just also happens to be Nuno from Extreme as well. And you can see that seasoning. Like, I mean, you listen to the solo from Play With Me, right? On their first album. And pound for pound, I don't know that there was a better guitar solo in the world at that point when that came out, right? So the playing, like even that part, I mean, that's the kind of thing you could practice for 6 months and still not be able to play as tightly as he played it when he was, 19 or 20, So he's always been this good, but I think what he's got now is the decades of experience of knowing himself and what's necessary. And he knows that he's got to throw in a little bit of flair for the fans who want to hear a solo, but he also knows what kind of solo to deliver to serve the song. And you can't teach that, man. That's something you learn, right? delay there. Come on, man. Yeah. Extreme 6. I'm down. I'm down. So what was that song? That was a song that was an extreme song, right? All the way down to the ground. It was, is it slightly different to some of their real early stuff? Yeah, not as flashy, not as, they don't seem like they got as much to prove now. But at its core, you can tell that it's organically an extreme song. And what I mean by that is, as an aging musician, the temptation is there to sort of go where the zeitgeist goes, because you might not have recorded an album for a few years or worked on any projects for a couple of years. You've taken a hiatus. And in that time, you've discovered a whole bunch of new stuff. Like you've started listening to maybe some metalcore or some deathcore or some, Animals as Leaders kind of, or Polyphia, or, things that really challenge what guitar playing is compared to what it was when you made a splash, right? And so, and I don't just mean guitar, I mean in general, like the crazy rhythmic stuff we're hearing now from, again, bands like Polyphia or Periphery or, whatever. It's real easy to start to feel like, when you feel like you're not trending as much, you're not being recognized as much, people don't know who you are because your albums came out 20 years before they were born, right? It's real easy to sort of fall into this rabbit hole of, I need to change who I am. I need to become influenced by what's current in the zeitgeist, because let's face it, you listen to the guitar players from Lorna Shore and they're amazing guitar players. There's some great technical guitar solos and stuff on there and things like that. And you might think, well, maybe extreme needs to be a little bit more edgy. Maybe we need to, do more sort of like double kicky kind of, accented polyrhythms or whatever, or you can be comfortable in your own skin and you can just produce the music the way you like it. And that's what this song feels like to me. It feels like a seasoned band of dudes who love their own band. They love what they sound like and they're not going to change it for anybody. Not that they have to. There's still plenty of meat on the bone for extreme. There's plenty of people out there who are as psyched as I am that they're back, So I think at the end of the day, to me, this is extreme saying, this is who we are, take it or leave it, man, because we're not going to be anything different than what we are. And I've noticed a bit of a trend, with the songs so far from Extreme 6. It's that kind of attitude, right? It's we're just going to rock. We're gonna write songs that would be killer to just be out on stage kicking ass with every night. And that's kind of like, that seems like a logical progression from a band that did such sweeping saga kind of stuff as Three Sides. Very dry, punchy rock stuff from like Punchline, and really flashy sort of esoteric shreddiness from, Porno Graffiti and earlier. There's a point where, rather than sort of match what's going on, just find a comfort zone and just be happy in it and live in it and just rock it out and do the best you can. And that's kind of, I think, where they're at. They're more mature and they just feel like this is where they want to be right now. And nobody does extreme right now better than extreme does. And I guess that's probably the mindset anyway. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just some guy. But anyway, that's the vibe I've gotten so far. If you're stuck around this long, I hope you appreciated this. If you feel like I brightened your day, feel free to support the channel. Just buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description, or just hit the super thanks button below the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I like this kind of stuff. If you're into guitar stuff, I do a fair amount of guitar-centric things. I also do a lot of other stuff. So if something pops up that's not in your wheelhouse, just skip it, But thanks again if you stuck around this long. Appreciate you guys. Stay primal. I'll catch you on the next one.